So, this is recording. I'm just kind of getting up, doing stuff today. Playing with knives. I got a few of them here. Oh, where'd they go? I've lost. It's really bad when you lose big knives in your stuff, you know, like this and this thing. Yeah, a few of these are just kind of floating around in my shop right now. The kitchen knife is ever so much more shiny now. I'm going to put handles on these probably later this week. I should have a day off next couple of days. But so today I was going to rant about gun control and my general thoughts on the subject. Basically, I don't really think there needs to be more gun control. It's one of those, they need to enforce the laws that are on the books. They do a lot more good. Most crimes are committed with illegal weapons. You know, legally registered stuff. Most people, it's not a crime of passion, don't really use them, or they're, you know, it's a lot of stolen stuff or illegally acquired items that do most of it, but that's not very convenient. You know, it's like, well, why would you use a gun that's gonna send the police to your house if you lose it when they do it? You know, things like that. Really what they need to do is, you already have to register to get a pistol in most states. Rifles are different just because there's so many of them. But what they should do is just actually enforce the laws that are on the books. They have background checks are mandatory. They know what you're getting. Like even at gun shows now, there's a background check. And if they'd actually just enforce the laws, you know, the amount of ammunition you can store on site, the amount of primers, reloading equipment, who can and cannot have a weapon. So, I mean, I'm not a personal believer in the illegality, like making it illegal to make a person-to-person sale. And if they do that, it should be for everything, across the board. If you sell your t-shirt to your friend, it should be just as harsh of a penalty as if you sell a shotgun to them. Because, in honesty, guns are not just a weapon or a collector's item or anything like that. They're a great way for people to hide wealth. If you want to save up money, well, you can buy gold, you can buy silver, or you can buy guns, ammunition, knives, tradables, you know, whatever you're into, but really, that's what it is. It's no different than buying gold. The only difference is that when the world goes to hell, you can't really go out and get dinner with gold. Well, you could technically if people are accepting it, but I mean, even if you see a bird on a tree, you can go get something to eat. It's a way more intelligent way to do it, and with the way things are going, it's going to be a lot more valuable, because guns, unless they are misstored, I mean, the difference between guns and gold pretty much always goes up depending on the economy, or it has some transcendental value. Guns and ammunition, on the other hand, will always have value, and it always goes up, as long as they are maintained or stored properly. Because, you know, let's put it this way, if your gun's rusted out, it's falling apart, no, it's not worth as much anymore, but if it's kept up and going, it pretty much never goes down in value. Because it's an equitable object, more so than most anything else, because quite literally, they're one of the most useful things ever. You know, there's all these laws and stuff you're restricted on and all that. Okay, that's great. Now, what I want you to do, ATF, right-wing Christians, or whoever's trying to take anything away from people, enforce the laws that are on the books. Actually do something. You know, go play, like for the analogy my friend came up with, which I thought was pretty good. Go play the game. Don't keep making up new games. You know, if you're going to keep on enforcing gun laws, it's not a paranoid thought that it's just basically eventually you can't have anything. Because there's only so many things you can rule out. I mean, it's just the law of economics, every single thing ever, and anywhere. If you keep ruling things out, eventually you will have nothing left. It's why negative reinforcement is, I'm told, doesn't work. But, you know, if there's no consequences to your actions, I don't see the point in that. But yeah, no, it's like if you keep taking things away, eventually there's nothing left to take. And that is one of the better reasons why people are like, no, we don't want more gun control. What they need to do is actually spend the millions and millions of dollars, because, I mean, let's be honest here, it's expensive to get a bill passed. A lot of money changes hands. They need to spend that money on enforcing the laws that already exist. Because if they did that, oh my God, things might actually occur and happen. You know, because if you keep just doing it, all you're going to do is drive up prices, which means someone's going to make money off it, and create a bigger black market, because prohibition doesn't work. It's been proven time and time and time again. I mean, at this point, the war on drugs is completely ineffectual. You can, if you go to the right area, or, you know, you look a certain way, or whatever you want to do it. I'm not very good at this stuff, so, I mean, I look like depending on the day, I look like an off-duty cop or an ex-military guy. But you can go just about anywhere and get just about any kind of substance you'd like. It's just a matter of finding the right person who'd be like, yeah, for this price. That's all it is. It's this price. It's not, oh, that's illegal. It's how much does it cost? That's the only currency. That's all prohibition does, is what does it cost? I mean, let's look at pot. That's the greatest one for the current one, and really it's hard to debate with it. Depending on the area, most pot prices have gone, since it's become semi-legal, have been cut in half. You know, and it used to be a good way to make money. Now it's become almost a little above a minimum wage job for some people. I mean, think about it. They made it legal. Now the government's making money off it. Maybe not as much as certain areas, but they're making money off it. Or give me a lot of dust in this building. I'd probably sneeze by the end of this. But there's a lot of, they're making money off it legally. They don't have to send police officers and get themselves into danger. I mean, we're keeping people safe. We're not burdening the prison system as much. And, oh wait, the big before it. The price went down, which means more people can get it. And you know what? The usage of pot really hasn't gone up from what I can tell. I mean, some people don't do it anymore because it's not as much fun. But, I don't know. You can always argue one way or the other. Whatever. But, there's no great solution to anything, but making it illegal generally isn't. Because, I mean, what was the other one? Oh, yeah. So, if we're going to make guns illegal, well, hell, let's do that with coke, meth, crack, and heroin, because that worked. I never see them on the shelves. It's not a problem in our country. I live in Oakland, California. There's not a drug problem here, or crime, or any of that. I mean, we'll go over to the other side of it, and let's have more guns, because what was it, the 1930s and 40s? There was a lot less crime, because you know what? You get your ass shot. Criminals aren't afraid of the police. The police take 20 minutes to 2 hours to get anywhere. If you're going into somebody's house, you're more worried that the guy in the house has a shotgun than that the police are going to show up while you're in there. Because if the police show up while you're in there, that was just random luck, or you are a slow-ass motherfucker. You sat down and you watched Game of Thrones on their cable for 2 hours, and then the police showed up, and you're like, oh, shit. Fuck, the police showed up. Why did I watch Game of Thrones? It's just, I don't know. I'll never understand humanity. It's a great point that I'd say they're trying, but they're really not. The other great argument is that every time the government takes guns away from its citizens, look it up, bad things start happening to the citizens. It doesn't even have to be the government. Organized crime takes a jump. Criminal activity takes a jump. The only place that I'm aware of that when they took the guns away from people, it didn't do horribly was England. But they're the English. They're weird. They're overly polite. They have tea. They have tea time. But I mean, if you take away the guns, all gun control does, of course, it was Thomas Jefferson, or it was some politician. I got to look it up and find out. At some point I may look it up, but you can look it up and try and see if you can find it. Gun control does nothing more than disarm honest people. Dishonest people are still going to have your weapons. You can enforce as many gun control laws as you would ever like, and people are still going to have guns. Because, if they weren't obeying the laws before, why would they now? I mean, even the going to prison for the most part isn't, kind of sucky premise, but you're getting all your medical, all your dental, everything paid for X amount of time until you're out. You might have a bad stigmatism, you have some fucked up shit go on in there, but for the most part, it only has so many contemplations to it, unless you're dead, unless you die at the process. I mean, a lot of people that I've known that have been in prison for a long period of time preferred prison. After a few bad instances, they were still toting the better points of the prison system. But, I don't know. Really, there's no great easy solution. What needs to happen is, I'd like to see more people with guns, but the biggest one on that is, you can't just dole out a 1,000 guns to people not doing anything. It needs to be training, and mandatory training. I'm not 100% for a year in the military, considering our country's in way too many political and war substances, way too many people would die. But just mandatory training, everyone could have a gun or anything like that, but the biggest one should be, you have to at least go through a class. I've done it. I've gone through firearm safety instruction. I've also got some fucking training from people I've known. I can hit a dime at 100 yards with a fucking rifle. It's this is coming from somebody who's had a bunch of training, had a bunch of safety stuff. I've actually gone out in one of the cities I used to live in. I would take inner city kids, not really inner city, but just kind of punks, ghetto rockers and shit like that. We'd go out shooting, grab a couple of beers, and we'd go out and blow the hell out of stuff, bring a case of ammunition. Every single time, whether it was someone who had been with me or not, we always had a firearm safety instruction course every single time. Never had an incident, never had a problem, never had anything. And these are kids, guys who are supposed to be at risk, really violent, gutter punks, punk rockers, all this kind of shit. Where should that have been? I mean, these are people who are supposedly bad people in society. They go out and we hang out, we have a few beers, and we blow shit up. Never been a problem. It's safety training could go a lot further than laws. I mean, don't even just make it like mandatory. You have to have safety training to get a gun. Why not just teach it at schools? You know, the defamiliarization of something generally makes people ignorant of it. And the more ignorant you are of something, the more likely you will to use it wrong. And that's just a fun thought. I'm Anthem, signing off.